So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And at different times, I have access to a lot of fruit. And I wanted to talk about the effects of eating pounds of fruit a day. If you've seen my channel, you know that I am Sir Random a lot, and I just talk about anything. If there's anything specific that you really like, feel free to hit the like button. And of course, let me get into my normal bragging session. I am Earthling, yada yada yada. I have traveled quite a bit. I'd like to see more of Asia and Africa. I have a couple of degrees. Definitely do not want any more, even though Dr. Earthling sounds good. I take care of my uncle who has dementia, which is, a challenging experience, but a learning one as well. Anyway, that's it for me. So, as it is, I've had access and the opportunity, or I don't know if you want to call it opportunity, the responsibility I felt to eat quite a lot of fruit. And I've noticed that, at least with respect to two of these fruits, that I was eating pounds and pounds of. We're talking like more than 10 individual fruit a day. I noticed some interesting things that happened, and even up to last night, and I wanted to talk about them, and just vague stuff that I googled. So yesterday I ate at least 2.5 to 4 pounds of fruit. I purposely don't want to say what kind of fruit. Anyway, I just have a lot of it, and I like to save money because it doesn't grow on trees. So I figured that I'm just going to spend this week, couple of days, just eating this fruit. And one of the things that I noticed is that, and from a previous occasion, is that I have urinated quite a lot. I mean, like a lot. Like a distinct amount. I would say a liter at least overnight. Yeah, probably. It's probably more than a liter. Definitely, it could be bordering on 2 liters. I got up in the middle of the night and like twice, and then after that in the morning. So adding all that stuff up, yeah, it's probably closer to 2 liters. And I guess I can say what I was eating. It was bananas, and I have a lot more to eat because I just happen to have a lot right now. So why let it go to waste? Especially since it's free. And in the past, and I guess in the future, there was also bananas, and there were mangoes and so on. But I've noticed something, and I think it's a useful thing. I don't know if other people, because I was googling this stuff. For one thing, I have cramps, and from what I was reading with respect to cramps would be, as I've already known, as a result of a lower amount of potassium and sodium in your body. So, for example, if you're a marathon runner and you're drinking a lot of just plain water, not, for example, something like Gatorade with different salts and ions in it, you can end up in a really bad position with cramps and not being able to run properly at the end of your marathon. So that was kind of confusing to me because I'm thinking, okay, these bananas, and on occasion mangoes, and on occasion other times, whatever, they have a lot of water in them. So I'm not expecting that I wouldn't urinate a lot. But the idea is that bananas apparently have a lot of potassium. I don't think sodium, I'd have to check. So I'm wondering, like, the banana has a lot of potassium in it, and here it is, I'm urinating a lot, which I expect, and I'm getting these cramps, which means that my body is low on potassium and or sodium. So it's kind of confusing. I mean, I'm not going to say that I understand what's going on right now. And this is something else that I saw. I saw that diuretics, which can be heart, like blood pressure pills. So I guess blood pressure pills are diuretics. So if you reduce the amount of water in someone's body, that helps with reducing their blood pressure, which seems like it might cause cramps. Well, yeah, that's something that I read. Anyway, I'm going to have to piece this together in my head. But aside from that, I just looked, and apparently I ate close to 5 pounds of bananas yesterday, which is a lot. And, someone might think, wow, I'd be so disgusted by bananas. Not really. They still, each one of them still tastes pretty great to me. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind eating other stuff. I think I had like a little bit of rice and peas and some other stuff. I can't remember. In the previous days, it was chicken. I had like a chicken thigh or a chicken breast. I'm probably sounding like a bodybuilder or something. But I was just trying to make sure I had a little bit of protein. Did I have tuna? I might need to have some tuna. Anyway, like I said, I noticed that this isn't just a banana thing. And anyway, with respect to the use of it, so yeah, it's not just a banana thing. I noticed the same thing happened when I was, one could say, binging. Is it binging on mangoes? So, and yeah, you would think that after you've eaten 8 mangoes in a day, that the 9th and the 10th would probably be disgusting. But as long as you're still hungry, no, they're not, at least for me. That's my experience, that I can still eat a lot of bananas, and I can still eat probably a lot of mangoes, if I have the opportunity to as well. But honestly, I think it's a mental thing. I think that people confuse how they feel after they've eaten a lot of a particular type of food. You think that it's that food that you have a problem with. In the way that people assess their past decisions and try to understand or come to a conclusion about how they must have been feeling based on the decisions that they made. So then, I would think, if I was in that kind of mindset, I would think, well, hey, seeing as I didn't feel like I wanted any more bananas, it's bananas that I hate. No, I probably wouldn't have wanted anything else. If it was something else, yeah, I'd probably, eat some potatoes or tuna or chicken or whatever. But at the same time, my appetite for whatever it is after I've eaten a whole bunch of bananas is not going to be the same as it would be if I had just had an empty stomach. And yeah, I noticed that happens a lot in life, where we think that because we did X, that we must feel Y. So, for example, when it came to my girlfriend, sometimes I would think, oh my God, I don't really want to see my girlfriend. I'm like, is it that I don't like her? Or is it that right now I don't want to see or talk to anybody, no matter who would be my girlfriend at this time? Is it that I really wouldn't want to interact with them right now? And when I mentally tested, yeah, that's what it was. I just was not in a social mood at the moment, and it didn't really have anything to do with her specifically. So, or for example, I remember when I used to be delivering newspapers, because I had a newspaper, and I would be like completely tired. Oh my God, I can't drop another newspaper. And I would go get something to eat, and while I'm sitting down having a soft drink or a snack, I would be fine. Afterwards, I was fine. And I'm like, you know what? I can deliver more newspapers. And I think the same thing happened with Billie Eilish, because she said that she would be on, robot mode, where she would just answer these questions the same way that she'd answered them before in all the other interviews. And then she'd catch herself and be like, wait, do I still feel that way? Because when I started answering that question, at one point I did, but now I don't feel that way anymore. So I think it's just something that can happen. But I just wanted to nail this down that seeing as, all right, I weighed myself and I think I lost about 4 pounds at least since I started eating all of these bananas. And as far as I could tell, in the past, I could easily lose like 8 pounds or something. And I guess that would all be water weight because once I stopped eating the fruits, most of that weight usually would just come right back. So I think that this might be potentially a convenient way of losing temporary weight if somebody ever needed to. I don't know if it would, yeah, I think it would work overnight. Let's say you're a boxer or something and you needed to cut weight, as they say, rather than going through somewhat painful, you know, in a heat room or something like that, or maybe in addition to, I don't know if being successful at losing a lot of water weight is a healthy thing, but probably is your goal anyway, so hopefully you don't die doing it. But if you need help with that, then probably eating a whole bunch of fruit the day before and urinating it all away, but you probably have like, you know, different chemicals that people use for that anyway. But, you know, if you want to be healthy, I guess you could just go ahead and use a lot of fruit. Of course, as I mentioned, there are cramps that I was getting overnight, so that's the downside of it, but I think that's to be expected with any kind of diuretic because that's what I read. But I didn't read specifically anywhere that bananas or mangoes could be diuretics. But based on my experience, they certainly seem to be diuretics. Now, I guess diuretics fall under the classification of, what do people call these things again? Right, detoxes. Now, I don't believe in detoxing because, you know, there's no real scientific method behind the stuff that people say with regard to detoxing. I mean, okay, what specific toxin are you trying to remove? Name it. What's the name of it? Okay, what is the specific ingredient in the food that you're using that is supposed to remove that specific toxin? Is it that the detoxifiers are like nanites? Do they just a kind of a factory? They just look for all the toxins in your body, and what are these toxins? Give me a list. You know, so that's ridiculous to me. But I guess they do. If you feel like you want to detox, I guess this is something that you could do. Again, I don't believe in detoxing because there's no scientific method behind it. There's no aim apparatus, objective discussion conclusion method. I remember this is from chemistry class. I remember we used to do that, and that's what I would call the scientific method. You have to have an aim, you have to have the apparatus that you're going to use, you have to have the method and methodology that you take to do it, and you have to have a discussion and a conclusion that you draw from the end of your test. And you know, maybe I should start breaking down my pieces, my videos like that. What's my aim? What am I going to use to talk about that? And all that other stuff that I just said. Anyway, maybe I'll talk about ripening these bananas and how that worked out thus far. Oh yeah, I forgot. And avocados. I have a lot of avocados sometimes. But, you know, I'm not going to have any of those for a long time. Anyway, that's it for me. Feel free to like, share, subscribe. Actually, can I encourage you to like, share, subscribe, dislike if you really feel like it. And keep in mind what kind of feedback and how would you like it if you were providing YouTube content. Have a good one. Peace.